Hey everyone, this is Derek Rose with the Conscious Resistance Network. Today is Thursday, September 20th, and I just want to check in for a brief moment to talk about Neil deGrasse Tyson. Before we do that, though, I want to remind you guys to bookmark theconsciousresistance.com to stay subscribed to all of our content, including recent interviews with Justin Padini, the occult anarchist, my recent report about 9/11, talking about leaving Google, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube and Amazon. And by the way, we are now on BitChute and DTube and Steemit and Minds.com and all those others. And you can get all the latest on our content, our latest documentaries. You can download or purchase our books or our t-shirts and things of all that sort. And you can also support me on patreon.com/DerekBros so that we can continue to do what we do today. But let's get right into this. I've talked about Neil deGrasse Tyson before, and I've previously discussed how he was pushing the dangerous, controversial science of geoengineering. And why would he do such a thing if he's so educated and somebody like me who is not a scientist and not, in the industry that he is and doesn't have all the celebrity that he has. But I can clearly see the problems with that technology. Now here I am, unfortunately, having to revisit this man who is, again, a celebrity salesman for the military-industrial complex, as counterpunch.com puts it so well. Yeah, it's problematic because this guy, Dr. I guess is even a doctor. No, he's a scientist. But people, I don't even know if people actually know what he's famous for. This is one of those guys that kind of like Bill Nye the Science Guy, who I think in some ways has also become a tool for the establishment. Um, Doctors, scientists who are celebrities, and you don't really know what exactly they do or how they got to where they are, but they just seem to be when they want to get a scientific opinion, they'll go to these guys and put them in front of you, and you're like, oh, look, it's my favorite celebrity scientist. Of course I should believe what they're saying. And it's no different with this guy. So apparently he recently appeared on Stephen Colbert's show. Stephen Colbert, also a tool for the establishment, a comedian, pundit slash talk show host who um, who really, I think, exemplifies, along with Jon Stewart and others, what it's like to be a fake newsman playing comedy, playing journalism, but getting people to believe everything you say as if it's golden. So the two of these con men get together to discuss Trump's Space Force, and Tyson says that, he doesn't think Trump's Space Force is not that crazy of an idea. And so you look into this and you can see that he's promoting a new book called Accessory to War, The Unspoken Alliance Between Astrophysics and the Military, which was released on 9/11. And it's basically about the history of militarization of space and astrophysics. And what he tries to do here is put this history together and make an excuse for scientists and specifically astrophysicists working with government and military sectors. And what they try to say is that without military funding, without scientific funding, without government funding, which of course is taken via involuntary taxation, aka theft, extortion, without that there would be no, internet, there would be no space travel, there would be no space missions, and all these kinds of things. And I've heard this argument before, and this is because most of these technologies were developed in private by DARPA and other government agencies, and then those tools were passed on to the private sector where they were turned into things like Google, Facebook, and a lot of the tools that we use today, including cell phones, which were originally designed as GPS tracking technology. Cellular technology was always about tracking. So, yeah, he's doing his best to going around, apparently Colbert, CBS This Morning, doing a lot of talk shows, promoting his book, and as Counterpunch puts it, more broadly, continued public expenditure on the Pentagon. Now, this is interesting because I hadn't heard about this, but he says, after a little digging, I found that America's favorite astrophysicist is a glorified salesman for the MIC. Now, let's look a little bit into Tyson's background. Graduated from Bronx High School of Science, went on to earn a PhD in astrophysics at Columbia University in '91. Then in '96, since '96, he was a Frederick P. Rose Director of the Hayden Planetarium at the American Museum of Natural History. Then he got appointed by the Bush administration, George W. Bush, um, for space militarization, essentially, projects. Now it says here, under President Bill Clinton, the Space Command, which was later Air Force Space Command, announced plans to dominate the entire world by that famous phrase, full spectrum dominance. And in 2001, under the Rumsfeld Space Commission, sought ways to expand the weaponization of space to reinforce the US-led corporate globalization and the architecture, satellites, GPS, the internet, etc., that supports it. In that same year, Tyson became a formal employee of the Bush administration. So one of his biographical web pages states, in 2001, Tyson was appointed by President Bush to serve on a 12-member commission that studied the future of the U.S. aerospace industry. The final report was published in 2002 and contains recommendations for Congress and for the major agencies of the government that would promote a thriving future of transportation, space exploration, and national security, that famous national security phrase. So you take a look here at the final report of the Commission on the Future of the United States Aerospace Industry, of which Tyson worked. And in this paper, it says the following in Appendix G. Appendix G, astronautical research and development, including resources, personnel, equipment, and facilities, outer space exploration and control. So this is part of their goal, control of space, militarization of space. And Tyson's biography states in 2004, he was once again appointed by President Bush to serve on a 9-member commission on the implementation of the United States space exploration policy dubbed the Moon, Mars, and Beyond Commission, that navigated a path which the new space vision can become a successful part of the American agenda. So let's look further into this. This follow-up report, which is called A Journey to Inspire, Innovate, and Discover, also makes interesting reading. It says, of particular importance to the space exploration vision is a strong partnership between NASA and the Department of Defense, where research, technical assistance, and operational assets are often shared. The Commission believes that the role of the existing Partnership Council should focus actively on supporting this new vision. So, bringing together the DoD, Department of Defense, the Department of War with the space and the space mission. And this is leading, of course, directly to Trump's declaration of a space force. People get all upset and think it's crazy as if this just popped up, but this has been ongoing, the Clintons, the Bushes, and Obamas. And then you continue to look into this guy's background here, and it's interesting. They basically just point out how Tyson doesn't challenge the fact that the system, the space-based system, is for defense. In the report that he helped co-write, the case of the U.S. missile defense, for example, the integrator is responsible for the overall systems of system architecture and for integrating the space, air, land, and sea elements. So, interesting aspect of this. This is the whole goal right here. The goal of a successful propaganda system is to sell science designed and applied for military use to the public as cool and fun. Enter Tyson. Since working for the federal government on these schemes, he has hosted PBS specials, worked on the Pluto Files documentary, appeared on Science Now, has hosted Star Talk, and a number of other shows and platforms that he's been a guest on. All the while, just pretending to be, a scientist, kind of celebrity guy, not ever disclosing his previous engagements with the Bush administration, working with the military in some cases to militarize space, or the fact that in 2016 he recently joined the U.S. military's 15-member Defense Innovation Board, which was launched in 2016, and this board advises the Defense Secretary on a number of issues, including artificial intelligence, machine learning, workforce capacity, organizational structure, hiring and retention strategies, acquisition reform, electronic and drone warfare, software capabilities, and IT infrastructure. So it's dishonest, and somebody needs to ask this dude and question him in person. How can you go around talking to the public about space and the militarization of space while failing to reveal your connections to these industries and to the government? He tries to play this impartial role, but he's not impartial by any means. And the interesting aspect of this, in his book, again, he makes excuses for the connection of the military to space and astrophysics. He says a vibrant economy depends on at least one of the following: the profit motive, war on the ground, or war in space. Must war and profit be what drive both civilization on Earth and the investigation of other worlds? History makes it hard to answer no. Star charts, calendars, chronometers, telescopes, maps, compasses, rockets, satellites, drones. These war not inspirational civilian endeavors. Dominance was their goal. Increase of knowledge was incidental. So he's basically saying that without war and the desire for domination and profit, people probably wouldn't have explored other countries, other parts of the globe, and we might not explore space without that desire. And he also goes on to describe how in 2003 he was in a meeting where he was able to see women and children being blown apart with high-tech weapons. And he writes that he had to blink back tears and fight to keep his composure. He thought about leaving the conference and he started imagining resigning from the Space Foundation. But at the same time, he felt like he just couldn't walk away. Because without the power sought by the participants, the people there, the warmongers, and without the tandem investments in technology fostered by their quest for power, there would be no astronomy, no astrophysics, no astronauts, no exploration of the solar system, and barely any comprehension of the cosmos. So that's it. He basically just says, he just ignores it in the name of science. And he told CBS this morning, I had to redirect the causes and effects of this violence and say, no, it's us, the electorate, that voted in Bush in late 2000. So he basically says, no, it's not us. It's not the people making these decisions. It's not the warmongers and all the military equipment and their desire for profit and control and domination that is driving this. It's the people. We're electing these people. So he just sees himself as a scientist, a cog in the machine who he shouldn't make value judgments on what is really going on in the war, and he shouldn't have any principles. It's bullshit. Screw this guy. Screw Neil deGrasse Tyson. Dump him in the dumpster bin of history because this guy is a propaganda artist. He's a shill man for the establishment, for the military-industrial complex, for the CIA and their uh, climate engineering programs, geoengineering programs, and who knows what else. So that's it, guys. Thanks so much for listening. You can see this link below the video. Please do bookmark theconsciousresistance.com and follow us on social media. That's it. Remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, you are free. Peace.